And shout out to the people on YouTube, obviously, on the 3 platforms. Oh, God, you showed me this earlier, man. It was like, yo, man, this is right down your lane. This is Viral's lane all day long.
Yeah.
Mark Curry, man. And we remember Mark Curry hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Definitely.
One of my favorite shows growing up. I think I was on TGI Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Family Matters, that. It was a couple shows. Love this show. Didn't know that he was such a raw comedian as he was, but he was a nasty comedian too. One of the greatest to ever do it. Went through his trials and tribulations. I remember he was caught in the fire and a lot of his body was burned, and he went through some real extensive rehabilitation and things like that. Put him through a dark time in his comedy. If people didn't see him for a while, he was going through some stuff, but he's been back on the scene recently. Was on this show, like you said, I believe it was Fox Soul, the Mike and Donnie show. Shout out to them over there. And he has some things to say about Steve Harvey. I'm going to play that clip, oh God, and then I'm going to get your thoughts on it.
Yes, sir.
That is the most lewd thing a comic can do.
To me, I step to you.
Right?
I'm going to step to you.
You ever step to him?
Yeah, step to him.
What'd you say to him?
Well, yeah, tell us about that.
Ask him.
Okay, I will, but
was that the first time that had ever happened to you?
No.
No, okay. What irritated you so much about Steve doing it then?
Because he made it. He's there. He's on national TV. You paid. You did your thing. You try to either you fucking with me or you disrespecting me or you I don't understand that. You taking food out of my money, you taking whatever. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
food out your mouth.
That's plagiarism.
Right.
Wow.
So we got you here. Steve ain't here. I'll ask Steve later. What'd you say to him when you stepped in?
Ask him.
Okay.
Ask him.
Was it, you guys worked things out? Was it still?
No, I saw him at the Def Jam 25.
Oh, Def Jam, okay.
So when I see you, I see you.
Okay.
So when I see you, I step to you, no matter where we at.
Right.
It ain't waiting, so I step to you. Step to you.
Did he apologize?
No.
He said he didn't know?
Of course.
Okay. How often does that happen in comedy?
I think it happens often.
Thief-ass motherfucker?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of thief-ass dudes out there.
Right.
Yeah.
But other people, other comics, you guys know about that, right? I mean, and then you kind of shun other, because I've heard other names, I'm not going to mention any names, about some of the comics that have these reputations for stealing other people's material.
Yeah, a lot of people steal.
Yeah.
Every time I see a special, I see a little bit of me. I see a little bit of some of my mannerisms or something, but I look at it as like, oh, well. You know?
Well, now you're on tour now, and you are doing the clubs. Do you stop people from coming in with their cell phones? Does it bother you? Because now that we're in the social media world.
You can't stop it, so you got to just be good. You can't stop people from videotaping. That lady over there was videotaping. So
stop it right there, oh God. It was a 16-minute clip. If you guys want to hear more, go check that out. This ain't the first time I heard this about Steve Harvey, man.
Really?
No.
I ain't never heard.
Hell no. But before I go ahead and do my thing, what you think about that?
You know, if it indeed is true, and I have no reason not to believe Mr. Curry there, I think it's sad, man, and it sucks, for somebody of his stature to have to, steal another man's, material. And he even says it like it's plagiarism, you know what I mean? Especially if you take somebody's whole, routine, I guess what they did, and he said that he took it and he used it. It just goes to show that, everybody, some people just lack that, fervor to do their own thing. They got to wait on other people to do it. But, I don't know, man. It's actually real shocking to me to hear something like this about Steve. When you said, I'm like, nah, I never heard about him, taking anybody else's routine. I definitely can't wait to hear who he was accused, whose routine he was actually accused of stealing before. But if indeed that is 100% true, that's some sucker shit, and you just can't respect it, man. You can't. Nah, and Steve Harvey's had beef with Cat. He's had beef with Bernie Mac. Yeah. He's had beef with Monique. He's had beef with a lot of some of the prominent names in comedy, and a lot of people don't know why. I remember, I think, who else had beef with him? Somebody else. It'll come to me. Tyler Craig, one of the other great comedians. A lot of the people, if you guys are in the stand-up, remember the old Comic View days. Yeah. Tyler Craig is one of the funniest raw motherfuckers who ever do it. Yes, he had issues with him too. And when I'm talking about certain people, outside of the Bernie Mac guy, rest his soul, and Cat Williams never got to the height of a Steve Harvey as far as daytime television and Family Feud and shit like that. Didn't hit the living rooms like a Steve Harvey did. For them to get to talk about this, talk about a Steve Harvey, to give him that
stigma that he's a comedian that will steal jokes, and then to kind of confirm it from a Mark Curry, somebody that's always been respected in the game, never threw dirt on anybody, so chill, and to have such disdain as you can kind of see and feel in his voice. It's like, damn, Steve, all alleged right now. We ain't been there. We don't know. Yeah. It's just another little black eye on Steve Harvey's name. And it's a shame, man, because Steve Harvey was funny, man.
Do you think it's rampant, though? Like, because you'll hear like this in the hip hop industry and R&B. You hear that somebody, just swipe somebody's whole song. In fact, we even did a few videos where artists, we heard two different renditions of the song. And we said it sounded the same. My question is it this big in comedy like it is in hip hop and music, like stealing people's routine?
You'll hear that there's one rule in comedy. There's one rule amongst the family. There's one rule amongst the brother and sisterhood. You don't steal somebody's jokes.
Right. Damn.
That's like the ultimate no, because you got to figure these people, these comedians, they're doing it all on the road. They're pretty much, they may be doing, a lot of them doing the same set, show to show. So you can't get your stuff took because you can't get your stuff watered down.
Right.
And to try those shows out, they got to go into real underground kind of comedy clubs, but they're all sitting there together watching, taking notes, enjoying each other's comedy. I remember Kevin Hart and Chris Rock was sitting there, and they were all doing stand-up amongst the same show on the underground scene, 40 people in there. Dave Chappelle walks in, he does his set, and they all throw their material out the window because Chappelle killed it. So they're all in there. It's this brother and sisterhood. So for you to go in there, it's almost like you taking notes to go steal it to go on national TV. That's as dirty as it comes, man. You can't. That's wrong.
And I, nothing against Steve Harvey, but I tend to believe this brother, man. I don't think that he's, lying about it, and it's, it's sad. But I'm glad that he has the, the heart to speak out and put it out there. In front of the world. I think that's dope.
Fact. Shout out to Marc Curry. If he happens to watch this podcast, man, you have more than welcome. Have a seat to sit here and talk to us, man. Big fans of your show. Big fans of your material, man. God bless.
Definitely. Well, speaking about another artist in the industry, Sam, man, Andre 3000 sat down with the Broken Record podcast, and on that podcast, he shed some light on where he is with music right now. Now, he actually sat down with Rick Rubin. I guess he runs that podcast over there. Shout out to him.
Dope.
He put, and I quote, "I haven't been making much music, man. My focus is just not there. My confidence is not there. I tinker a lot. I just go to the piano and set my iPhone down and just record what I'm doing, moving my fingers, whatever happens, but I haven't been motivated to do a serious project." Sam, man, what do you think about this, though? Andre 3000, like you said, a story that you did about him and something that he was going through was one of the first stories that did some real great numbers on YouTube. So you're definitely familiar with Andre 3000 and his music. What do you think about him saying this? And you being an artist, can you relate to what Andre 3000 is saying?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because as an artist, it kind of highlights the genius that he really is, and it also it tells you what kind of icon and how seriously he takes music. When he says he's uninspired, you got to think about the music that he's put out and the kind of person that he is, and where is the motivation? Where does the motivation lie in a world where there's not much to be happy about? There's not much to be really to praise on necessarily. Even when you look at the music, it's like, dang, this ain't a era where maybe necessarily I can find a creative juice to want to put out an album, to put out work. You don't often hear an artist, especially on the caliber of Andre, say that because he's uninspired, he doesn't want to put out work. I'll give an Eminem for an example, one of the greatest rappers to ever do it. But a lot of the reason why he fell out of people's top 5, top 10, and beyond is because he felt the pressure to put out albums, because he heard whispers or heard things and heard this like that. And it wasn't the Eminem of old. It wasn't the Eminem we remember. Andre don't want to be that way. 3 Stacks don't want to be that way. He's not just going to put out an album because he hears people and he hears the whispers and everyone's saying they want a new Outkast album. Everybody says they want to do this or do that. We heard Boomerverse that came out a couple years back with Big Boy. That joint was a banger. I can still rock to that joint to this day. So they still can do their thing. So for him, and I'm sure even the piano that he plays and whatever comes out of his mouth, or whatever he's doing that's recorded, is genius. I'm sure it is. But for him not to have the inspiration, I'm glad and can respect and admire the fact that he can be open and honest about that. It's not easy to do. You don't see people coming off their high horse and saying that, especially the caliber of Andre. So
I think it goes to, I think it's kind of, a travesty in what it reflects how bad the music is nowadays, that he is like not feeling like seeing a new artist, because something about, competition, like when you had Jordan, you had all these players, Reggie Millers and Drexler and Isaiah Thomas, all these players were playing in the league, it just made it better. Like when you come in, you have to bring your A game.
Got to.
And now you got guys out there that just subpar. Everything sounds the same. So you're like, you know what? I ain't really even feeling it. Like I need to even come out and even inject my music in this. Cause one, when I put it out there, people ain't going to appreciate it. They want this other different type of sound. And it's just like, it's music, just like even what we do. Anything that you do as an entrepreneur, you got to feel inspired. I know I got to feel inspired. Like even to get on here, if I'm not inspired, I don't see the vision all the way through. It just ain't going to be right. And, you know, it'll come out. So it's just like, you got to salute somebody like that. And I think you made the greatest point when you said that it just shows his genius. Like he ain't going to just give you